and welcome to The Art of Pointy Things, a channel where I discuss my adventures in knitting, sewing, embroidery and other similar crafts. I am Dusty and today I am back trying out some natural yarn dyeing. I already have a video on this which I will link above and in the description. This time I'll be using red onion skins to dye this yarn. I think I have about 250 grams of red onion skins that I have ready to use, and I'm hoping for a sort of reddish brown this time, mainly brown but hopefully with a tint of red. So last time I used two ingredients, the first being rhubarb leaves, which was to provide a mordant. This time I don't need to do that, as red onion skins naturally contain tannin, which will act as a mordant. A mordant, if you're interested, is used in dyeing to ensure that the dye more solidly adheres to material so it won't just wash out. So onto the yarn I'm using, which is the same yarn as last time. So it's an 80% superwash Blueface Leicester and 20% bamboo. And this is a fingering weight yarn. I got this from Chester Wool, or more specifically their shop, which will be linked down below. So before I use this, I am going to soak it for about an hour before I add it to the dye. Also today I want to state that all the equipment I am using I have put aside just for yarn dyeing and is not used for cooking at all. Whilst I have read that you can use normal kitchen tools for red onion skins, I'm not going to. Mainly to get into this habit if I decide to use different materials in the future. Also, rather than using tap water to do all of the water needs for the dyeing, I'm using rainwater from my outdoor water butt. And because this is, non-treated water, I'd much rather not put it anywhere near my cooking pans. Especially, even though I am boiling it, technically I feel it's safer to keep them apart. So let's get on to preparing the red onion skins for the dye. So today we are going to be dyeing yarn with red onion. Luckily, unlike my last attempt at natural dyeing, red onion is a lot easier to prepare. And the fact that you just need lots of red onion skins, which I've been storing in this bag, So I have been collecting these for the past 9-10 months and just leaving them to dry out and then sticking them all in this bag. So, turn the scales on, empty them into the pot and see how much we have. Right, so that's 239 grams of red onion skins, which I think is pretty good. It looks, volume-wise, a lot more than I was expecting, given the fact it was in this tiny bag, and then now it sort of fills the whole pan. You might have noticed that there were some silica gel things in there. These came from something else. They are meant to try and keep things dry, which is why they were in with the bag. Whoops. Because I was having, initially when I started saving these, I was having problems with mould. But I changed the way I was storing them, added those, and it seems to have worked. I can't see any mould in there. Just lots of red onion skins. So, fill the pan with water, and then I'll put it on the stove. And my plan this time is I'm going to bring it to a simmer, then I'm going to turn it off, let it cool down, then bring it to the simmer again. I don't want to heat it too much. I wonder if that was why last time I got much more of a brown than a green with the nettles. I just want to heat it up to get the tannin and the colour out of the red onion skins. And then, yeah, on to the next step. So for this process I'm using water from external water butt. This collects rainwater. I'm mainly doing it for environmental reasons. I don't see the point in using treated water for something that I'm not going to eat. I feel I should bring in now, whilst I'm cooking the red onions again, that the last time I did this using nettles, I ended up with a lot more brown than I did green. And reading up on this sort of thing, I thought one of the reasons why might be that I cooked the nettles too hot, and it sort of, I think you can sometimes decolour things by doing that. So you get more of a brown than the colour you want. So the approach I'm taking therefore this time is that basically I'm bringing this up to sort of a steamy, almost simmer, and then on a really low heat, so it comes up really slowly, and then I'm just leaving it to cool down a bit, and then I'm doing it again. So I've just turned it off for the second time, and I'm going to let it cool down, and then I'll give it a stir, which I'm going to do anyway before I let it cool down, but I'll give it a stir, and we'll sort of see where we're at. I think I've already got quite a bit of colour out, so if I just bring my spoon in, yes, it's already, I think it's going to end up a lot more brown than red when we actually try to dye the yarn, but hopefully that should help get a bit more colour than just brown, which is what we ended up with last time. The other possibility, if you're interested, was that I didn't use enough nettles, which I think is fair. I think I could have used a lot more, especially a lot more leaves. So I'm going to bear that in mind for the next time I may try nettles. Do want to try it again. Do want to try and get a bit more of a green, see if I can improve. So yeah, this is going to potentially boil one more time, maybe not, and then I'll bring you in to see me straining it out, see what sort of colour we get, and then adding the yarn. So this is cooled down. I didn't end up boiling it another time. I think I'm happy with where it is now, and I don't want to risk ruining the colour by boiling it. So I'm now going to strain out all of the red onion bits. I'm going to try to. So I've got this second pan with a colander in it. I'd like your guys' opinions. I have heard that what I could do is actually put that in there, which it would just about, it wouldn't fit properly in there. Find something that could fit in there, and then leave the onion skins in whilst you put the yarn in that, submerged in that. I don't think that's going to work this time because I think the edges will catch on the pan. So I'm going to strain the bits out. I'm going to try to. And then you can probably see in the background I've got the yarn soaking. So we'll get some of the water out of that, put it in this, and then heat up the dye. Let's go. We are being joined by my puppy dog. She has heard things happening, so she has come to join us and see what is going on. Right, so I'm going to just scoop some of this out into the colander, just so it doesn't fall out and splash everywhere. I'm half tempted to add more water and try again and see how much more I can get from this, because I don't feel I've gotten everything I can from it. I'm doing that the wrong way around that time. You can't see it, but the dog has definitely decided that this is food and therefore she should be getting some. Which is yeah. She wants red onion skins. I don't know if they're toxic. It's probably toxic to dogs. This is completely cooled down, by the way, so I have no issue with like the dog peering around. And it's red onion skin, so again, no real issue with her peering around. Shouldn't be toxic to her, I don't think. So we are going to put that to the side. Okay. And into the pot it goes. So that's back on. I'm going to give it the same treatment that I did the red onion skins, where I'll bring it up slowly to sort of a steaming temperature, and then I will turn it off and do that a couple of times, and we'll see where we are. Right, the yarn has cooled down, and I'm now going to wash it, and we'll see what colour it turns up. Attempt to wash it. So at the moment, it's red, like purplish red, like maybe a bit brown. Brownish purplish red. It's kind of gorgeous. I kind of love it. So I honestly think that's as clean as I'm going to get it for now. It's not lost as much colour as I was terrified it would, in all honesty. It's still this sort of reddish brown. I think it's lost a lot of the red. I think it has definitely come out more brown, but it's a very deep brown. So I'm going to go hang this up to dry, and then we're going to discuss the rest of the dye. Okay, so that yarn came out quite a dark colour. A lot darker than I was expecting. And this is the rest of the dye. And you can probably tell there's still quite a bit of colour in there. So maybe I'll dye some more. I also, you might notice in the back, put some more water in with the skins. Brought to the boil a couple of times again. This is cooled down now. And where's my spoon? I don't know if you can see. I don't think it's as much colour as before, but it's still plenty of colour. I just kicked you, didn't I? Okay. So, umming and ahhing. I don't think the rest of the water from the back pan is going to fit in the front pan. So what I might have to do is drain the back pan into the bucket. Then make sure I get the leaves out into this colander. And then try and get all the dye in one pot. And then I have a bunch of skeins of this, which is the yarn I made my birthday cake shawl out of. It is, I think, something like 85% merino, and then got 15% multicoloured Donegal neps in it. And I'm thinking of, got a couple of skeins of this, thinking of sticking these in the pot and seeing what colour comes out. So, see if I can capture on video all the faffing with pots I'm about to do, and then maybe get some yarn in. It is pretty much bedtime, but I think I might let it soak overnight and then put the heat on. We'll see what that ends up with. Okay, so in total I ended up dyeing 3 skeins of yarn, and I'll just go through each one. So the first one, which is this one, is the BFL Bamboo blend that I showed at the beginning of the video. This is the first one I dyed, and I'm honestly, I'm happy with all of the colours of these, in all honesty. It came out a lot more red than I was expecting. I was honestly expecting just to sort of get brown and then that was it. But these have actually come out somewhat red, and they're, I mean, I think a lot of the red was washed during washing, but honestly nowhere near as much as I thought. So I'm so happy with the colour of this. It's probably going to be a pair of socks, maybe a textured pair of socks. I don't really know which pattern yet, but plan for this is probably socks. But so happy. So we'll move on to this skein. So as I mentioned, I reboiled the onion skins, mixed together the leftover dye from that one and then the new refreshed dye from the red onion skins, and I added these two. These are the same yarn. These are actually the same base that I used to make my birthday cake shawl. If you've been watching my podcast episodes, you might know about that. And it's an 85% superwash merino and 15% multicolour nep from Chester Wool. And you can actually see all of the brightly coloured neps still show through. They've not been over dyed, which basically means I think they're probably made of polyester then, which doesn't really matter too much to me. But yeah, so you can see it's got again this brownish colour. I think it's a slightly paler brown. I don't think it's come up as well as that one did. So this, I just added the skein straight in, just unrolled it and added it. This one, you'll notice, is already caked up. And what I decided to do for this one is, if you watch Yarn Dyeing, you probably know who Chemnitz is. And she does this thing where she'll dye a gradient in a ball. So the idea is that the yarn dye doesn't necessarily penetrate all the way through into, or it goes to the centre of the ball, but it's a lot harder, so you end up with a gradient style colour. Honestly, I don't really know how it's worked. This took ages to dry. I have the slight problem, which I forgot until after I finished dyeing this. I have the slight problem of I have no way to then turn this back into a skein. Once I've caked it, I would have, I think it's a Nitty Knotty. I need something like that potentially if I'm going to do more of this, because it dries so much better in this form than it does in this form. And again, it's sort of a paler, this is a lot more brown. I think I added this to the pot and then went and wound this up into a ball and then added it to the pot, and I think you can actually see the difference. But you can see that it is paler on the inside. So what I am considering doing is winding this into a ball from the outside, so this bit here, this end here, becomes the inside. And then the next time I do yarn dyeing, I've got some tea leaves saved that I'm thinking I could use, which just makes a much more brown. It's I wouldn't really say, I don't think it goes towards green like the other one, or I think it's a bit more brown. And put this inside out so that the hopefully paler inside is on the outside, and then re-dye it and see if I sort of get this gradient from red onion skin to tea. I think that would be kind of cool. And then that's probably going to get made into a shawl. Potentially with this, I might, if I do the fade, I've got more of these undyed. I've got quite a few for some reason. Well, it was on sale, so I have like a lot of them. Not a lot, I have like 5, which is a lot of yarn in some ways, not a lot of yarn in others. So if I might reball it before I put this video up, in which case maybe there might be an overlay of me doing that. I don't really know. So I want to see how it works though, so that's kind of why I want to reball it. And then maybe some sort of fade shawl between this, the same yarn but dyed with tea, and then this between them, fading from tea to red onion skins. I think that might be cool. I feel I've also been rambling. There's also part of me, I do have, I'm sure I got it out, one moment. Oh, there it is, hiding. So this is the yarn I dyed before. This is dyed with nettles and rhubarb. sort of a greenish brown. I think that might be quite a funky colour combo. I mean, I'm already knitting a pair of socks with this, so anything I do will be leftovers from both of these. Also, I don't think that's going to work as well. This is the botanical yarn that I got recently. I just don't think it's going to necessarily work with the reddy brown as well as it works with the greeny brown. But I love looking at colour combos like that. So anyway, I think that's it. That's my sort of final thoughts. I'm so happy. Nothing has felted again, which is always good. Nothing has burnt. I think I've come up with a lot better colour, which I think means that if I ever want to do nettles again, I think what I've learned is that I need a lot more nettles. I mean, I know it was 200, I can't remember how many grams of nettles I had. I had 240 grams of onion skins, I've done 3. So I think red onion skins evidently contain a lot more colour than nettles do. Which kind of makes sense, I suppose. So I need a lot more nettles than I thought I did. And I think I may be able to get better green. Who knows, I may try that again in the spring when you've got fresh nettles coming in. But we'll see. But thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day.